What's happening, people? Back with another reaction, back with some more men at work, and we're returning to Cargo. Hello, Luca. And I did want to mention at the front of this video, I am doing my last batch of regular reactions before going into the holiday period today. So some of you who will be here no doubt follow other deep dives and other reactions I do on the channel. So I just want to mention this in all but the first two videos. I forgot to comment on the first two videos in this regard. But yes, these regular reactions, the regular deep dives I'm doing today, will be the final batch before we hit around New Year's, because for the next 2 to 3 weeks I'm going to be doing exclusively holiday reactions. So I know that's not everyone's cup of tea. If it's not, I apologize, but bear with me, and by the time we get into 2026 I will be returning to normal service here. And if you are into holiday reactions, then there's a lot of stuff that will be coming and that I've already been doing the last couple weeks or last few weeks for you to find interest in. In any case, the next tune on Cargo is, make sure I have this right, it made me laugh. Yeah, Settle Down, My Boy, which feels like the kind of expression you say to someone when you think they're overexcited, when they're a bit too keyed up about something, when they're maybe overreacting to something, and maybe it's not about excitement, maybe they're angry or they're frustrated or lashing out, but the narrator seemingly is telling them to put it into proportion better, like, you know, you need to settle down. And perhaps it's a functional piece of advice, the idea that, well, you're not going to solve anything by just ranting and raving or by venting, so settle down, my boy, and then approach things from a more reasonable perspective. Either way, it sounds like chiding, like maybe not sarcastic, but it sounds like a zing, like, you know, not, because you could respond to someone who's upset about something by saying, okay, I hear what you're saying, maybe consider this or that or the other side or whatever, but settle down, my boy, is something you say when you're sort of being dismissive, or at least laughing at the expense of the person who's saying it, or who's articulating their discomfort or unrest. So in that regard, yeah, it feels like something you'd say to a friend more than you would say to a stranger, though I suppose it depends on the context. In that regard, I will try to catch what I can. Let's give it a listen. This is Men at Work. The track is Settle Down, My Boy, and it's from their 1983 album Cargo.
Knuckle down and find a job and take some responsibility. Settle down, okay. Settle down, my boy, settle down. The future's something that you should be thinking about. Settle down, my boy, settle down. Look around for a wife to start a family, my boy. Settle down, my boy, settle down. Listen to your father and he'll tell you the same as me. Settle down, my boy, settle down. Your my boy, settle down. Settle down, settle down, my boy, settle down. Settle down, 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 settle down.
Like looped or echoed vocal at the end there. So the sax is a notable feature of their music. Now, I still have only heard about an album and a third of their larger catalog, but certainly I remembered from my youth the sax and Who Can It Be Now, and it does seem like they are fond of the sax. So, there's some groups like Spandau Ballet often has sax in their tunes, at least the albums I've heard. Hall & Oates, or Daryl Hall and John Oates, as apparently Hall prefers them to be called, they definitely have some sax, and what's that guy's name? It's like Charlie something. But yes, it does seem like Men at Work often have a saxophone on hand if needed. And here, it comes in and it's kind of what I would expect. It's, sort of accentuating, giving a bit of swankiness. And then in the last minute or two, it just goes wild in a good way. I enjoyed the flourishing and the flaring and the eccentricity of the playing, but definitely it was beyond what you normally get in 80s saxophone heavy tracks. So I enjoy the wildness of the saxophone here. Overall, I'd say the song kind of has this mellow groove. At first I was thinking, oh, it's kind of like island rock, but then the guitar, the way it was played, it was almost like Spanish guitar, so it had a bit of that flavor as well. So yeah, they have kind of this 80s pop rock sound, at least as I've come to know it, but the different flavors of that across the different tracks is notable. There's a diversity of pop rock sounds, even if that is, I think, the general territory they're in. And yeah, so lyrically, I realized pretty quickly that one of the possibilities of the phrase settle down can refer to not running around in terms of, dating a whole bunch of different people and, kind of living a more, let's say, young person's life and, sort of romantic or sexual escapades, if you will. But hey, settle down, find one person, marry a woman, start a family, you need to settle down. So suddenly, my first thought is or not my first thought. My first thought is you're talking to a toddler, you're telling them to settle down, sit down in your chair, finish your peas, was it, and your gravy, and stop acting up or I'm going to send you to your room. It really felt like that type of tone. And then suddenly after that, it was settle down, stop running around town, settle down, and I'm thinking more, again, find a job, find a wife, start a family, do what you're supposed to. So then I thought, oh, so is this about what society tells you when you're growing up, that settle down, stop being a troublemaker as a kid, settle down, go to college, get a job, settle down, stop going out there and dating different people and sort of, living a nightlife, settle down, work a 9-to-5 job, do what you're supposed to. So I was thinking maybe it's a song that's getting at the issue of conformity or societal expectations. Maybe there's something to that. But by the end, I was so keyed in on the sonics that I didn't come to a final conclusion. So I don't really know what's happening here, but maybe Settle Down, My Boy isn't from narrator to somebody else. Maybe it's what his perception of, and again, maybe he's not even a character in the story or the scenes that are being painted. Maybe he's an omniscient narrator, you get in some novels where the person telling you what's happening, they're not in the story themselves. They're kind of above everything. They're just describing the story to you and they're not actually a character. So maybe that's what's happening. But either way, yeah, my best guess is that this relates to multiple phases of being told to settle down and to not, go out and do your own thing, or not march to the beat of your own drum, or sort of live in a way that is considered uncouth or something like that. Nevertheless, I very much enjoy Colin Hay's voice. That is a fixture, a constant when I've gone through their music. I just think he has a good vocal sound, and he sounds good here. So yeah, saxophone crazy, lyrics intriguing, vocals good, guitar island or Spanish kind of flavor. That's, I guess, my overall assessment. Do let me know if you have some more insight or a different opinion, and I will see you next time. Oh, did I say it at the beginning of the video? I did. Okay. I'm just trying to make sure I say in each of my videos today that there's going to be a break in normal reactions, but I did mention that, so I won't repeat it here. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time. Peace.